Have you ever felt tired? Not in your body, but deep inside your heart? Not the kind of tired that sleep can fix. The kind that comes from trying again and again, and still feeling stuck. The kind where life keeps testing you, and you quietly wonder, why me? Maybe you promised yourself that things would change this time. You would stay strong. You would stay hopeful. But then the same problems returned. The same pain. The same silence. And slowly, something inside you started to shut down. If that sounds familiar, stay with me. Because this video is not here to motivate you for 5 minutes and leave you empty again. This is a story. A simple story. But one that carries a lesson so powerful, it has the ability to change how you experience pain itself. By the end of this video, you will understand why some people suffer for years, while others transform their lives without changing their circumstances at all. And if you watch till the end, you may walk away with a mindset shift so small, yet so deep, that it can make your heavy days feel lighter, starting today. So don't rush. Don't scroll away. Give this story a few minutes of your attention. Because sometimes, the answer you are searching for does not come as advice. It comes as a story that speaks directly to your soul. Far away from comfort, far away from ease, there existed a vast desert. A place where the sun showed no mercy. Where the wind carried silence instead of relief. Where survival itself felt like a daily struggle. In that desert lived a small bird named Era. Era was not always weak. But life had slowly taken everything from her. Her body was fragile. Her feathers had fallen one by one. She could no longer fly. And because she could not fly, she had no home. No place to rest. No place to feel safe. Every day began with pain. And every night ended with exhaustion. Food was rare. Water was almost impossible to find. And loneliness followed her like a shadow that never left. Era did not cry out to the world. She did not blame anyone. She simply endured. But deep inside her heart, a quiet question kept growing louder. How long will this last? Is this my life now? Was I born only to suffer? She watched other birds fly high above her. Free. Strong. Untouched by the ground that burned her feet. And in those moments, the pain was not just physical. It was emotional. Because hope felt farther away than the sky itself. Era had no idea that her suffering was not meaningless. She had no idea that life was preparing her for a test far greater than pain. A test that would not be about strength, but about something much deeper. And that test was about to begin. One day, as the desert lay silent under the burning sun, a shadow passed over the sand. Era slowly lifted her tired eyes. High above her, a white bird was flying. His wings were wide and strong. His movements were calm, effortless. There was no fear in his flight. No struggle in his rhythm. His name was Noor. Unlike Era, Noor did not belong to the desert. He moved through the sky as if he trusted it completely. As if life had never broken him. As if hope had always been his companion. Era watched him in silence. Something stirred inside her chest. Not jealousy. Not anger. But a fragile feeling she had almost forgotten. Hope. Gathering the little strength she had left, Era called out to him. Her voice was weak, almost lost in the wind. But Noor heard it. And for the first time in a long while, someone stopped for her. Noor gently descended and looked at Era with concern. He saw her broken feathers. Her trembling body. The exhaustion in her eyes. What happened to you? He asked softly. Why do you look so burdened? Era hesitated. Then she asked a simple question. One that carried all her pain inside it. Where are you going? Noor looked up toward the open sky and replied calmly, I am traveling toward heaven. The moment those words reached Era's ears, something changed. A small light appeared in her dark thoughts. If he was going toward heaven, then maybe her suffering was seen. Maybe her pain was known. Maybe someone was listening. With folded wings and a trembling voice, Era spoke again. "Please," she said, "if you meet God, ask Him about me. Ask Him when my pain will end. Ask Him when my bad days will finally turn into good ones." Noor did not answer immediately. He simply nodded. And with a promise in his heart, he spread his wings and rose back into the sky. Era watched him disappear into the distance. She did not know if anything would change. But for the first time in a long time, she felt seen. Noor flew higher and higher, leaving the desert far below. The heat faded. The wind softened. And soon, he reached a place filled with calm and light. At the entrance of heaven, Noor was met by an angel named Seraphiel. His presence was peaceful, yet powerful, as if he carried the wisdom of countless lives. Noor bowed respectfully and spoke about Era. He described her suffering, her sickness, her loneliness, and the quiet strength with which she endured her pain. Then Noor asked the question that weighed heavily on his heart. What is written for her? When will her suffering end? Seraphiel closed his eyes for a moment. When he opened them, his voice was gentle but firm. Her life, he said, still holds many years of sorrow. Happiness is not written for her yet. Those words struck Noor deeply. He felt a heaviness in his chest. He imagined Era's tired eyes, her fragile body, her fragile hope. If I tell her this, Noor said slowly, she will lose all strength. She will break completely. Is there no way to help her? Seraphiel remained silent for a moment. Then he spoke again. Tell her this, he said. Tell her to say one sentence in every situation of her life. In pain or peace. In loss or comfort. Noor listened closely. The sentence is simple, Seraphiel continued. Thank you, God, for everything. This is her true test. Noor did not fully understand how such simple words could change a life filled with suffering. But he trusted the wisdom behind them. With a heavy heart and a quiet hope, Noor turned back toward the desert, toward the little bird who was still waiting for an answer. When Noor returned to the desert, Era was still there. Tired. Weak. Waiting. She looked up as he descended, searching his face for hope. Before he even spoke, she sensed that the answer was not simple. Noor gently shared what he had learned. He did not speak of long years of sorrow. He spoke only of the message. He told her about the angel, and about the sentence she must say in every situation. Thank you, God, for everything. Era listened quietly. At first, she did not understand. How could words matter when pain was real? How could gratitude exist where suffering lived? But something inside her chose to trust. She did not argue. She did not demand explanations. She simply made a promise to herself. No matter what happens, she whispered, no matter how painful the day becomes, I will say these words with honesty. And life tested her immediately. When she stumbled on the burning sand, she said, Thank you, God, for everything. When thirst burned her throat and no water appeared, she said, Thank you, God, for everything. When more feathers fell and weakness returned, she closed her eyes and said again, Thank you, God, for everything. These words did not remove the pain instantly. They did not change the desert overnight. But they changed something far more important. They changed Era. Without realizing it, she stopped fighting reality. She stopped asking, Why me? And in that quiet acceptance, something unseen began to shift. Her test had begun. Days passed. And the desert did not become kinder. The sun still burned the sand. The nights were still cold and empty. Hunger still returned. Thirst still followed her steps. Nothing on the outside had changed. But inside Era, a quiet transformation was taking place. Each time pain appeared, her old habit wanted to complain, to ask questions, to feel unfairly treated. But she stopped herself. She breathed. And she spoke the words again. "Thank you, God, for everything." She said them when her body felt weak. She said them when she felt alone. She said them even when hope felt far away. At first, the words felt heavy, unnatural, almost meaningless. But slowly, they began to soften her heart. She noticed something strange. Pain still existed, but it no longer controlled her. The desert still surrounded her, but it no longer lived inside her. Without knowing it, Era was learning a rare lesson. Suffering becomes heavier when we resist it, and lighter when we accept it with grace. One morning, as she walked across the sand, she felt a small change. Not around her, but within her body. New feathers began to grow. Slowly, gently, strong where weakness once lived. Era did not celebrate. She did not question it. She simply bowed her head and whispered once more, "Thank you, God, for everything." And that was the moment when the world itself began to respond. That day, the sky did something the desert had not seen in a very long time. Dark clouds slowly gathered above the burning land. The wind shifted. It no longer felt dry and cruel. It felt alive. Era looked up, unsure of what was happening. She had learned not to expect miracles. So she simply stood there, calm and present. Then the rain began to fall. At first, it was light. Soft drops touching the sand. Then it grew stronger. The desert drank deeply. The ground darkened. Small green plants pushed through the soil. A shallow pool of water formed nearby, reflecting the sky. Life was returning. Era felt strength rushing through her body. Her new feathers spread wide. Her wings felt light again. And for the first time in what felt like forever, she lifted herself off the ground. She flew. Not in excitement. Not in disbelief. But in quiet peace. She landed near the water and looked around. The place that once held only pain now held possibility. The desert had not just changed around her. It had changed because of her. And still, Era whispered the same words. Not because she was happy now, but because she understood. Thank you, God, for everything. She did not know it yet, but her test was already over. Not long after the rain had transformed the desert, a familiar shadow crossed the sky. Era looked up. It was Noah. He circled above her once, then descended quickly, his eyes wide with disbelief. The barren land he remembered was gone. Green plants covered the ground. Water shimmered in the light. And there, flying freely, was the same little bird who once could not lift herself from sand. Noah watched Era glide through the air with ease. He could hardly believe what he was seeing. When she landed, Noah approached her slowly. "You look different," he said. "Stronger. Happier." Era smiled gently. She did not boast. She did not explain much. "I only did what I was told," she replied. "I thanked God in every moment." Noah felt a deep confusion. He remembered the angel's words clearly. Years of suffering. No happiness yet. How can this be? He wondered. Without wasting another moment, Noah rose back into the sky. He needed answers. Because what he had just witnessed went against everything he thought he understood about fate. And somewhere beyond the clouds, the truth was waiting. Noah returned to heaven with a restless heart. What he had seen did not make sense. The suffering was supposed to last for years. Yet the desert had bloomed in days. He found Seraphiel waiting, calm as ever. Noor spoke without hesitation. "The bird's life has changed," he said. "She is healthy. She can fly. Her world is full of life again." Seraphiel smiled softly. "Yes," the angel said. "What was written was true." Noor frowned. "Then how did it change?" Seraphiel's voice remained gentle. "Her fate was written with years of sorrow," he said. "But fate is not a prison. It is a lesson." When Era accepted every moment with true gratitude, the angel continued, she stopped fighting life. She stopped resisting pain. And in doing so, she burned the weight of her past. Noor listened closely. "When someone says thank you only in happiness," Seraphiel said, "nothing changes. But when someone says thank you even in pain, their inner world transforms. And when the inner world changes, the outer world follows." The angel paused. "Her test was never about suffering," he said. "It was about trust." 10 years of sorrow became 10 days, Seraphiel concluded, because her heart passed the test. Noor finally understood. Suffering does not end when life becomes easy. It ends when the heart becomes light. And far below, in the quiet desert, a small bird lived in peace, not because pain never came, but because pain no longer ruled her. Most of us do not suffer because life is cruel. We suffer because we keep fighting what already is. The moment something goes wrong, we complain. We ask, "Why me?" We replay the pain again and again in our minds. And without realizing it, we make our burden heavier. Era's story is not about a bird. It is about us. We wait for life to become perfect before we feel grateful. But gratitude was never meant to be a reward. It was meant to be a tool. Complaining tells the mind that life is unfair. Gratitude tells the mind that life is teaching. This does not mean pain disappears. It means pain loses its power over you. When you truly say, "Thank you, God, for everything," not as words, but as acceptance, something inside you shifts. Your heart becomes calmer. Your thoughts become lighter. Your strength returns quietly. And sometimes, without warning, life begins to change around you. Not because you forced it, but because you stopped fighting it. So the next time life puts you in a difficult place, pause, breathe, and try this one small practice. Say it honestly, even if it feels strange, even if it feels hard. "Thank you, God, for everything." Because sometimes, the smallest shift in the heart can transform an entire destiny. Before this video ends, take a quiet moment with yourself. Think about the weight you've been carrying, the situation you wish would change, the problem that keeps returning no matter how hard you try. Now listen carefully. You don't have to pretend the pain isn't real. You don't have to force happiness. All you need is one honest choice. The next time life hurts, the next time things don't go your way, the next time you feel tired of trying, pause and say it. Not loudly, not perfectly, just sincerely. "Thank you, God, for everything." Say it not because life is easy, but because you trust that this moment is shaping you, not breaking you. Make this a quiet promise. Not for one day, not for good days only, but for every day. Because gratitude does not change life instantly. It changes you. And when you change, life follows. If this story touched you, carry it with you. Return to it on hard days. And remember Era, not as a bird, but as a reminder of who you can become. Thank you for listening. Thank you for staying till the end. And most importantly, thank you, God, for everything.